Hey guys, it's Ari here. Just kind of wanted to continue on with this series of videos, just kind of educating people about trucking and kind of the process of going from start to finish with any company, most particularly Swift, because that's the one I'm with right now. So we already went through how to get your CDL, the mentorship process, the upgrade test. So by now you should be basically getting set up with a truck. Once you do that, you just want to make sure you get your stuff organized. You get it in the truck. You get your truck, make sure that it is roadworthy. Hopefully you'll get a nice truck. If not, you just kind of have to stick with it until they give you one. So I just kind of wanted to go over some tips for your first 2 weeks, month, that'll help you kind of get successful and start earning, anywhere from $700 to $1,000 a week. And this just depends on the time of the year, what terminal you're at, where you're at, and how many loads are available. But definitely all of these will help you in building some healthy habits, so that way you get as many loads as possible, you get as many miles as possible, and you're not confused on the road by yourself. The first tip I would give you is, again, before you leave your mentor, let them know you're going to call them. Build a relationship with your mentor. Just make sure that you can call them if anything goes wrong in those first couple weeks, because something will go wrong, something will confuse you. You'll have a load that you never got with your mentor that you don't know how to really deal with properly. So just make sure that you build those relationships, you network, you get your mentor's personal phone number, so that way you can give them a call anytime anything goes wrong or you have a question about who to call. And they should help you out pretty much. I mean, they kind of expect that you're still going to be a little bit lost afterwards, so it should be fine. The second tip I would have for you is to try and arrive early everywhere. So if you have a load, try and get there about an hour early, just because this is going to help build the healthy habit of you leaving early, arriving early. Most places that I've been to, when I first started out, I arrived probably about 45 minutes early, and all the loads are ready. A lot of preloaded trailers are ready already, and a lot of the live loads were basically open. They were just, taking people as they got there, even if they had like a strict schedule. Now, not every place is going to do this. There are going to be some distribution centers or something that are going to have real strict guidelines on the schedules, and you have to show up at your appointment, or they're just going to make you wait around. But most of the time, if you're doing just a preloaded trailer, or you may get lucky with a live load and they have it done before you're there. So if you're there early, you show up early, you get it done early, you're out the door early, you're on the road, and that'll just help you avoid any driver failures or anything like that. So the third step is to get some sort of a cooler or a fridge for your truck, if you can afford it. I know at first I couldn't afford it, so I just kind of got like a $20 cooler from Walmart, stocked up on ice every couple days, and just kept some sodas and drinks in there. That'll definitely help you save money, and it'll help you avoid stopping. You kind of want to stay on the road as much as possible just to get your miles, but you do have time in your 14 hours for stops and your 30-minute break. So it's not so much as don't ever stop, as plan your stops properly. Don't make too many stops for drinks and stuff. Just keep it down to restrooms. Maybe a once a day 30-minute break where you can eat at a restaurant. You can sit down and relax for a little bit and not be behind the wheel. So you want to plan those stops, and a cooler will definitely help you do that, because you'll have cool drinks in the truck ready for you. You don't have to go anywhere and pay any money, and maybe you'll get a discounted price. Like, you go to Walmart and get a 12-pack of sodas instead of paying $2 per soda at every truck stop here. Let's see. Another tip would be learn how to find truck stops. My mentor showed me Trucker Path, I think. It's basically an app that shows you where all the truck stops are. You can choose different map layouts. You can choose map layouts just for parking. So it'll find all the public parking spaces that you can take up, as well as the truck stops. It'll tell you how full they are. It's got 3 phases. There's a red phase, which means that Truckers there are reporting that there are no spots available. There's a yellow, which means that truckers are reporting that there is some spots available. And then there's a green phase, which means that truckers are reporting that there are plenty of spots available and that the lot is basically first come, first served. There's space if you need it. So you want to learn how to find truck stops ahead of time. That way you can properly plan your stops. And you want to learn how to get an advanced reading of how full the parking lots are. That way you don't go to a truck stop to take your 10-hour break and you find that there's no spots available. You don't get stuck on the side of an off-ramp somewhere. So definitely learn how to find truck stops, how to plan those stops around the parking availability of certain places. There's always going to be rest areas on the side of the highway or something, but I find it better to just stop at an actual truck stop. There's a restroom there. There's vending machines, food. It's just a little bit, I feel like it's a little bit safer than a rest area, but I don't know. Nobody's going to mess with you too much. Let's see, another tip would be time your brakes wisely, of course. Try to remember every place you go as a new driver, because a lot of these loads you may get again, and so it helps to remember, the layout of a distribution center. I know I've been to the Walmart Baytown distribution center like 3 times now, so I'm pretty much well acquainted with that place. There's some distribution centers in Texas that I know about pretty well. So just kind of remember every stop you get to. Just kind of remember the protocols, remember what they had you do the first time, just so that you know what to expect if you get that load and you don't necessarily remember it, but once you show up you go, oh, okay, this is the place I've been to before. So that way you know exactly what's going on, you know where the empties are, you know where they want you to drop your loader trailer, or where the dock doors are that they want you to go to without necessarily needing to ask for directions. This will all just save you time if you just try to remember the layout, or even if you some places actually have maps that they'll give you, like a little piece of paper with a map on it. Try and save those. If you lose them, it's not a big deal. You'll probably remember the layout of the place the second or third time you go there. Let's see here. So remember the places that you go, or at least try to. I guess another big one would be just to continue all of the safe driving practices that you had with your mentor. I know it's tempting to kind of just get on your own and relax. A lot of drivers now, you can do a Bluetooth connection to your truck, and so that allows for things like listening to music. I like to listen to music while I'm driving off my phone, but I've never basically gotten distracted by my phone. I always make sure to put safety first. On my steering wheel, I have all of the playback buttons on my steering wheel, so I never have to look at my phone or tap on it. So definitely keep safety in mind as you get started. Remember that you're a new driver, you're not experienced. If you get these heavy loads or something, you need to be extra cautious because you don't have that sense of weight and speed that an experienced driver does, and so you can find yourself in a dangerous position more often than the experienced driver. So just remember your hills, watch your hills, your weather conditions. If you're in rain, hopefully you'll go through some of these things with your mentor and they'll kind of give you tips, or you'll at least remember, you'll get a sense for how much you need to slow down depending on the road conditions. So just keep these things in mind. Don't just get relaxed and start driving on your own and think that everything about the road, because depending on what time of the year you start, you may start in the spring where it's raining in a lot of places. You have your chance for hydroplaning, or you might start in the winter like I am, and there's a lot of icy roads out here now. There's a lot of snow, there's a lot of fog here in California, so you need to be wary of these things and dangers that they bring as a new driver and plan accordingly. Increase your following distance, scan your mirrors, make sure nobody's going to do anything stupid, because it may not even be you that makes a mistake. It may be a car that tries to pass you and loses traction and slams into you or something. So just plan to use these safety guidelines that you've built up with your mentor. Don't get relaxed about those. Let's see. Try to network with as many people as you can when you meet people. When you meet people at the front desks of the terminals, just be nice to them. Try to get a sense of their name. Thank them for what they're doing. Every time you call somebody at a service, be polite, because you never know if you may meet these people again. Especially your planners, always thank them, be nice to them. These are the people who are going to get you on the road a little bit faster. So if you can learn certain people's names and get a relationship going, you have a better chance of being able to use those relationships to your advantage. Number 9, for a new driver especially, this would be learn about the terminals and where they're located, because this is going to save you money. What happens with these parking spots here at these truck stops is they get filled up pretty quickly, but there's always reserve spots, at least at most truck stops, where you can pay for a prime parking spot overnight. I'm not sure on the price. I've never actually stopped at one, but I think they're somewhere anywhere from $12 to $20 a night, depending on where you go. So if you are in a rough spot where you can't find any parking, the only parking you can get is paid, and you don't necessarily want to spend $20 just to get a parking spot, you might want to look into ahead of time where the terminals are that are near you. Like here in LA, there are some parking spots here. There's a Petro and a TA here. Huge parking lots, but it's $20 for every 24-hour period that you park there. So if you don't want to pay those $20, here in Jurupa Valley, there's a terminal that you can go to. It's only about a 30-minute drive, and it's free parking. You're at a Swift terminal, and once you get there, you've got all the amenities. You've got laundry, internet, TV. You can get food delivered here. You've got a guaranteed safe parking spot, and if you need any help or any permits or anything, you're already at the place to go. So learn about terminals. Try to stop at terminals as often as you can, just to get little things that you need, like permits. Let's see. I guess the last thing I would say is don't be afraid to ask other drivers for help, especially if they're other Swift drivers. I ran into somebody at a distribution center for a furniture business. I was basically raising the landing gear for my trailer, and I felt somebody tap me on the shoulder. So I turned around at some other young driver, and he asked me, hey, can you help me scale my load? I've never scaled a load before. So I thought, okay, well, that's weird. Like, usually with your mentor, you'll have at least one load over 35,000. You would think that you would need to scale. So I basically went over there and helped him, and I asked him how long he'd been driving on his own. He said about 2 weeks. So I asked him if his mentor ever taught him how to slide his tandems. He said no. I said, has he ever told you how to slide the fifth wheel? He said no. He didn't teach him how to scale. He didn't teach him how to do any of these things. So I basically had to take about 30 minutes to get him on the scale there at the shipper and show him how to get off the scale, slide his tandems, adjust the weight on his trailer to make him legal, so that way he could leave and take the load. So there are other Swift drivers out there who will help you. Of course, not everybody's going to be a nice person, so just be wary of that. But if you find somebody, most of these grizzled load veterans will, they'll help you out if you just ask them. They see, a little kid, a young driver, and they get a soft spot for you. So if you just ask them real nicely, real politely to help you with something, they'll help you most of the time. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to, of course, call your mentor. Use your resources that are available to you. And most people will be kind enough to help you out, even at truck stops. If you have trouble backing, don't be afraid to ask somebody to spot you. Of course, they don't want you to hit their truck. So if you're asking them, hey, can you spot me so that way I don't hit your truck, most people are going to get out of their truck and help you. So yeah, don't be afraid to ask people for help. Use your resources. As a new driver, try to find tips to save you time. Of course, getting a fridge, a cooler. Learn how to find truck stops. Learn how to find terminals. learn how to, of course, plan your stops. Let's see here. Don't get relaxed, especially. Focus on your own safety first. And as long as you do that, you should be good to go. And I can't guarantee that you'll make $1,000 every week. That's what they tell you. But I was able to make about 850 at least 2 weeks out of my first month, and the rest of the time I was making about 700. So if you can get more time on the road, more miles, you'll definitely make a little nice chunk of change there every week. So just keep these things in mind as you start out. If you guys have any other questions, if you're a new driver and you want to know what to do in a certain situation, or maybe how you can find terminals, or you just want to find out about the Trucker Stop app and you can't find it, leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, alright? Thank you.